an Alaskan woman is found dead in San Diego. Her family tells us who she was. Plus, colleagues remember a former assembly member after her sudden death, the legacy Karen Bronga leaves behind.
And with a chance of rain lingering into the overnight hours, summer awaits for the rest of this week.
And Alaska's Lieutenant Governor testifies about Dan J. Sullivan, what she told us when we asked her about his party affiliation on the ballot.
You're watching Alaska's news source.
Tonight, we're learning more about 26-year-old Bryn Waite. She's the Anchorage woman identified as the person found in the water near San Diego last week. The San Diego County Medical Examiner says Waite was spotted floating offshore Wednesday morning. Lifeguards brought her to shore where she was pronounced dead. The cause of death still pending. Waite grew up in Anchorage and played soccer at Service High School before earning a scholarship to play D2 soccer at Central Washington University. Her father, Brian, telling us today that beyond being athletically gifted, Bryn was incredibly thoughtful, loving, and selfless.
And anyone that got to know her just would instantly call her a true friend and say that she brightened up the room and made him feel welcome and happy to be in her presence.
Her father, Brian Waite, telling us he spoke with his daughter about a week ago and says she was making plans to move into a new apartment. We'll continue following this story. Back in Alaska, Alaska State Troopers and U.S. Marshals are looking for a suspect charged with first and second degree murder. Here's some details now on your screen. 43-year-old James Simpson was last seen near Wasilla on May 23rd. Simpson is charged in the death of 40-year-old Richard Provo. Provo was found dead in the Big Lake area in early 2024. Simpson was arrested and eventually held on a $100,000 bail. On June 15th of this year, Simpson was charged with escape. Court documents say he tampered or disabled monitoring equipment. U.S. Marshals are offering a $6,500 reward. Anyone with information asked to call the number there on your screen. An Anchorage police officer charged with DUI is no longer with the department. APD confirms Charles Bowser officially separated from the department on June 18th. Bowser was charged in April after investigators say he drove a patrol car while intoxicated in March. Charging documents allege an off-duty officer raised concerns he may be impaired. Officers later found him slumped over and smelling of alcohol. Documents say his blood alcohol level was about 0.293 at the time, more than 3 times the legal limit, and in-car video allegedly showed him driving over 80 miles an hour. APD did not say he quit, resigned, or was fired, citing personnel rules. However, in a statement to Alaska's news source, Bowser says he resigned, saying in part, quote, "I no longer work for the department and have nothing to say. I guess the only thing I would say is leadership should reassess how they handle stress in the workplace with their employees." Bowser has a pretrial conference scheduled for August 3rd. Anchorage community members are remembering former Assemblywoman Karen Bronga after her sudden death. Bronga was traveling in her motorhome Friday when her vehicle was hit on the Sterling Highway. Former Assembly Chair Christopher Constant served with Karen Bronga and remembers her passion. Constant says Bronga was involved in a number of issues in Anchorage, including public safety, homelessness, and gun violence. Above all else, he says Bronga had a deep passion for park access in Anchorage.
She was truly a champion for parks and access. You could, on almost any given summer day, and even in the winter, find her wandering the trails up here and enjoying her friends and family out in the wilderness. The more that I think about Karen since the terrible news on Friday, the more I know what her number one thing she left behind was championship of our trails and public access.
We reached out to state troopers who said the crash that took Bronga's life and left 2 others in the hospital is still under investigation. As of this morning, there have been no arrests or citations issued in that wreck. And after a clear weekend, South Central is moving back into the clouds, but not for too long. It was a beautiful weekend. Bailey Braun joining us now with the forecast.
Yeah, Augusta, it was a beautiful weekend. I hope that you were able to get outside and enjoy it. And that was true for nearly every region across the state. We even saw some snow in the slope. But as we look ahead, we've been tracking this Arctic front. You can kind of see all of that front passing through, that's what's been bringing in more of those rain and showers across South Central, but especially for areas into the Matsu Valley and Talkeetna. That's kind of where we've seen the most amount of rain across the region, and that's still the #1 spot where we're expecting more of those showers. But more shower activity is likely to pass into Anchorage by the overnight hours and especially into tomorrow morning, even as we track our precipitation chances that is going to build overnight tonight and into Tuesday morning. Now, right around the afternoon time, early afternoon, that's when we're actually going to see a little bit more sunshine popping in for Anchorage and across South Central as a whole. And as we continue throughout the rest of this week, mostly sunny skies are in store with temperatures back up near 70 degrees. So summer is on the way. You just got to get through Tuesday morning. Morning showers likely across the South Central region for tomorrow with temperatures in the mid-60s, tracking up near 70 degrees across the interior as well as parts of southeast and Juneau. Partly cloudy skies, temperatures near 68 degrees, mostly sunny in southwest Alaska. For those overnight lows tonight, we'll dip down to 53 degrees in Anchorage, tracking into the 40s across much of the interior. But for tomorrow, those highs gradually building up as this front begins to dissolve. We'll see high pressure arrive, and that's going to bring mostly sunshine and much warmer temperatures ahead. So you have a lot to look forward to this week.
All right, Bailey, thanks for tracking all of that. We are looking forward to that sunshine coming back. And now we're still asking why Dan J. Sullivan has no party next to his name on the ballot. Our political reporter Will Courtney asked the lieutenant governor about the decision to list his name without a party, but questions still remain.
The only goal was to make sure we had maximum differentiation between the two candidates.
Why a man has no party on the ballot. Petersburg's Dan J. Sullivan, who has the same name as a sitting U.S. Senator, has been under scrutiny by Republicans, with questions if he's trying to trick voters. After being removed by the Elections Division from the ballot, he was reinstated by the state Supreme Court. When the ballot was printed, though, he had no party affiliation. That decision raises questions over legality and if partisan influences were at play. That obviously comes at his expense, too. He doesn't have a party affiliation, his name has changed, so, was that ultimately...
He has not complained about that.
Sure. But, presumably it does impact him, though. He has no party affiliation.
We have not heard anything from him on that.
On Friday, Sullivan said he wouldn't litigate the issue, but the ballot is, quote, stacking the deck for the senator. Will Courtney?
Again, we just want voters to know who they are voting for so they can make their choice. That's our only goal.
Alaska's news source.
The Elections Division has delayed our public records requests, asking for records that would detail how this decision was made. We are committed to getting access to those documents. We've got more coverage on this on our website and mobile app. For those looking to get out and enjoy the rest of summer, stops to fuel up might be looking a bit higher than last year. Our Tracy Sinclair tells us how much you can expect to spend on gas today.
We wanted to check out some gas prices across the state. Now, I do want to point out that this does not factor in those very steep prices that we see in parts of rural Alaska. But this gives us an idea of what we're seeing in metro areas. Our source for this is AAA. For the current average, $4.72. That's just a little bit up from last week, but a little bit down from last month at this time. And then an almost dollar difference from last year. One of the most interesting things is looking at what does it take to fill your tank at these prices. If you've got a large truck, 38-gallon tank, that's almost $180. We do some spot checks around the state as well in Anchorage, Fairbanks, and Juneau. You'll want to check it out. Go to our free streaming apps on Amazon Fire, Apple TV, and Roku.
Was our Tracy Sinclair. Thanks so much for that report. Now let's head on up to Fairbanks, where the Fairbanks North Star Borough School District is working to give students a path into the trades. Schools such as North Pole High offer programs in welding designed to give students hands-on experience and allow them to develop skills that will help them get a job. The district is partnering with several different trade unions to give students a connection to groups that are in the workforce. Along with hands-on skills, educators say they want to emphasize work safety to students who are interested in a future in the trades. Senator Sullivan and Dirty Jobs host Mike Rowe visited a trade job training center last Friday. They emphasized wanting to see more students go into the trade school.
And sunshine and warmth. I know that that's all you want, but don't worry, showers will dissolve into tomorrow morning with summer-like conditions returning by midweek.
Thanks for listening. Click subscribe so you can get the latest podcast from Alaska's news source automatically. And stay up to date with breaking news and in-depth reporting available for free 24/7 with the Alaska's news source app.